From the beginning, I was always attracted to men, but I could not be gay under no circumstances. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have sons. I wanted to hug my sons. So I went out on a limb with major lies to myself. All of that time, I had a girlfriend who I wound up marrying, and at the age of 25, and then my second son 2 years later. And I got good time to hug them. As a child growing up, I was always afraid, even though I was playing around here and there. I said, no, I'm straight. And in college, I had a number of incidents that were very enjoyable, but no, I'm not gay. I'm straight. I'm going to get married. And I stuck to that. Things worked really well for maybe 2 years as far as playing it straight with my wife and no other incidents. But then I started looking around and seeing other things. Each time I had an orgasm, it was much better with men than it was with women. So I started meeting other people. And that's when I met John, my lover. John and I would write back and forth. He always wrote notes and I would reply. And I had 2 of the notes in my jeans, and we were going to a party that night. My wife was acting a little strange as we left for the party, as not being very friendly. And then when we got there, it didn't take long before she said, I have a headache and I want to go home. She never had ever had a headache and left any place. So in the back of my mind, I'm going, uh-oh, what's happening? And when we got home, she confronted me with the 2 notes which she had torn up. And I just had to be honest. But I promised her I would stop and I would stay as her husband and not fuck around any, but couldn't hold to it. And she, to her benefit, said to me one day, I love you, but I can't compete with a man. We don't need to be together anymore. At this time, I was living in with her and my sons in the house that I was born and brought home to my entire life, a big old Victorian house. And I had to leave. That hurt, of course, and leaving my sons from a 24-hour type thing to a visit a couple times a week or 3 or 4. We stayed in the same town. But then she moved when she remarried out into Lancaster, Pennsylvania from New Jersey. So the in-between times getting together with my sons were stretched wildly. Well, John and I stayed together in the house that I was born in. He bought her part out before he died. He had pancreatic cancer. Within a year or 2, he died in the bed that I sleep in now. When John Barbella was in the hospital in New York, I would commute after school into New York, but I'd stop at home and have a couple of drinks of vodka. Then when I got to New York, I'd go to his room, hang out, and then I'd have to be headed home. I'd go to a bar, have a drink. Then I'd get home alone in the upstairs sitting room where John and I would have been sitting watching TV. Deep depression. However, when I get in front of my class, it didn't appear as bad as it really was. But Joe picked up on signs, and he finally came up and asked me about my drinking. And he was the one that got me to go to Marworth in Pennsylvania, which where I had my 28-day sobriety and stayed sober from that point on for a long time. So we had a wonderful life. John taught me that I was not the loser I thought I was. He taught me that I was of value, and I had never believed that before. But he was a very smart mentor, businessman on the upward swing through AT&T, making good money, as far as the transition went, it was so easy for me to move in with him as if life was really always the same way. And I was always at ease, always happy, and learned that I had value to John. So if that was the case, then I must have value to other people. And then I came out. My mother had died and my father had remarried. My other sister had not told me she was gay yet. Then my father, I turned to him, I said, "Hey, Pop, I have to tell you I'm gay." And he turned to me and he said, "Are you happy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "So what?" Which was totally unexpected. I expected to be told to get out of the car and never talk to him again. After John passed away, I used to hang out with friends that we had when he was alive. There was a young man, 12 and a half years younger than me, at that party, and he turned to his friend and he said, "I'm going to marry him." We did wind up getting together. His sister lived out here in California, so we came for a visit. I saw her house, the plants that I tried to nurse in New Jersey, as big as her house. So I decided I wanted to move. So we went back to New Jersey. I put the house I had lived in for 45 years on the market, sold it, moved out here, and with the money from that, bought a house for cash in Irvine. And we were together up until 2 weeks before our 15th anniversary, when he said to me, "I need passion." And he left. And apparently he had met a psychologist in AA that won him over. The two of them became massive alcoholic drug abuser. And so I was happy to be without him anymore. After 40 years of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to school to teach, and I became also an assistant principal. When I retired, I took full advantage. I didn't get up till 10 o'clock in the morning. I enjoy my time alone. I really do. I've marched in every gay parade that existed, starting in New Jersey, and now especially in Long Beach and LA. You younger guys, you're really in so much better place than I was. I would not have gotten married, although now today I'm happy I did, because I have 2 sons and 5 grandchildren. Anyone I hurt, I apologize wholeheartedly. It was not my intent. I was just trying to find my way. I collect masks, and I didn't know why I liked them so much for a long time. When I realized I spent my life as a mask. My face was not the true face. My face was lying. Be straightforward. Believe in the fact that you're a worthy individual, and no one can take that away from you.